Let's dive right into this explainer and look at how a megaport crammed for space is hacking its way to the top using next-level digital tech. We're talking about a massive operation that literally never sleeps. It's coordinating millions of tons of cargo, thousands of trucks, and huge fleets of ships. It's a logistical puzzle of epic proportions, and the way they are solving it is just fascinating.
Here is the roadmap for today. We'll start with 1. The megaport's bottleneck. Then move to 2. The digital handshake. 3. The blockchain backbone. 4. The 5G virtual clone. And wrap up with 5. A greener, automated future. We're going to untangle this complex web of technologies layer by layer, moving systematically from the intense physical infrastructure on the ground all the way up to a fully realized virtual clone of the port itself.
All right, Section 1, the megaport's bottleneck. We've got to understand the brutal physical reality Busan Port deals with every single day before we get into the digital fixes.
To help you wrap your head around the scale here, Busan handles over 22 million TEUs. That's 20-foot equivalent units, basically your standard shipping container. That insane volume makes it the 7th busiest container port on the planet. And get this, it handles a whopping 77% of South Korea's entire container cargo. It is absolutely the beating economic heart of the region.
Now, South Korea isn't a massive country geographically, right? So space is at a total premium, and the port is an incredibly dense labyrinth. Because of that tight layout, a staggering 95% of inland cargo has to be hauled out on trucks. When you combine massive global shipping volume with a total reliance on ground transport, boom, you've got a systemic, massive bottleneck. And hey, this matters to all of us. These are the exact bottlenecks that dictate if your online orders actually arrive on time, and they're a huge driver of global inflation.
But this congestion wasn't just annoying. It was literally creating a life-or-death situation. And the fatal flaw? Paper. Specifically, paper equipment interchange receipts, or e-EIRs. Picture this, a truck driver having to jump out of their cab, walking right next to huge, heavy machinery with massive blind spots, just to hand over a slip of paper that could easily blow away in the ocean wind. This incredibly outdated process led to severe and, tragically, fatal accidents in recent years. The port was staring down potential shutdowns because of tightened safety laws. Something had to change, and fast.
Which brings us to Section 2, the digital handshake. To fix this dangerous situation, the port had to totally eliminate the need for humans to be walking around these active industrial zones. This is where the paradigm completely shifts. They swapped out that incredibly dangerous practice of drivers chasing paper receipts on foot with a seamless smartphone app called e-EIR. It's a simple but profound shift. Drivers stay safely locked inside their cabs the whole time. No paper, no dodging heavy equipment on the tarmac, and no sitting in endless queues waiting for an assignment. Leaning on South Korea's crazy high 97% smartphone penetration rate, this step-by-step workflow is beautifully efficient. A truck pulls up, and the gate instantly recognizes the license plate. The driver gets their destination right there on the app, proceeds to the block to load or unload, and then just exits with a quick completion ping on their phone. The app even shoots out urgent alerts, like if the port has to close because of high winds. It routes everyone perfectly, and nobody ever steps foot outside their vehicle.
Moving to Section 3, the blockchain backbone. Getting drivers on an app is an awesome first step, but how do you get fiercely competitive port operators to actually talk to each other? That is a whole different puzzle.
Well, we're talking about 10 different terminal companies, massive trucking firms, and the Port Authority. They were naturally pretty reluctant to hand over their sensitive operational data. So Busan built what they call the Chain Portal. It's a transparent, tamper-proof blockchain database running on Hyperledger Fabric. Blockchain was the absolute perfect fix here because it guarantees that no single company can monopolize the data, creating this secure trust layer across companies that are usually competing tooth and nail. And this wasn't just some small test run. Processing a massive 12 million data transactions in 2021 alone, this blockchain backbone completely rewired how the port operates. It powers a transshipment shuttle system to optimize cargo moving between terminals, a vehicle booking system that totally leveled out those brutal peak traffic times, and real-time terminal monitoring. It basically slashed truck deadheading, when a truck drives empty, and massively minimized the need to constantly rehandle cargo. Now, into the really futuristic stuff. Section 4, the 5G virtual clone. We are taking all that physical data and blockchain data and pulling it into a unified virtual reality. Welcome to the digital twin.
Imagine a 5G-powered 3D virtual clone of the entire Busan Port. It acts exactly like a giant virtual sandbox. Port operators can use artificial intelligence to run endless simulations. They are testing out optimal equipment deployment, tweaking berthing schedules, and accurately predicting ship arrival times based on live marine conditions long before those ships even appear on the horizon. It is wild.
And the environmental payoff of this virtual clone? Absolutely massive. By simulating the port's operations, the AI calculates the exact perfect entry time for incoming ships. So ships that are still way out at sea can adjust their cruising speeds to avoid burning fuel while just waiting around. This simple optimization cuts carbon emissions by an astonishing 75%. Just think about that. A massive win, all driven by data.
Finally, Section 5, a greener automated future. Let's zoom out and look at where this is all heading. Busan is aggressively aiming at 2030 and 2040 to become a hyper-efficient, fully automated marvel. To get there, they are rolling out domestically produced automated cranes and automated guided vehicles, which is great because it breaks their reliance on foreign tech. They are launching fleets of drones to inspect their huge 450-acre footprint, doing the work of hundreds of human inspectors. They are even testing out piezoelectric smart roads. That means they are literally generating electricity for the port just from the sheer weight of heavy trucks driving over the asphalt. How brilliant is that?
When you stack all these technologies together, the results are undeniable. We are talking about a radically safer working environment for the people on the ground. They are saving $3.5 million a year in fuel just by cutting down on truck idling. They completely wiped out over $300,000 in costs simply by ditching that old paper e-EIR system. And the kicker? Overall port productivity jumped by a massive 16.6%.
If you tally up all those incredible efficiencies, it translates to an estimated 224 billion Korean won in annual economic benefits. That's hundreds of millions of dollars, all derived directly from implementing this digital platform. That, right there, is the true power of applying digital transformation to massive physical infrastructure. So, we'll wrap up this explainer with a provocative thought. If an entire megaport, with its millions of moving parts, fierce competitors, and massive physical footprint, can be perfectly cloned, secured on a blockchain, and optimized in virtual reality, what industry is going to be transformed next? As these technologies completely rewrite the rules of global trade, you've really got to wonder how hyper-automation will reshape the supply chains that you and I rely on every single day. Thanks for joining me on this one. And keep questioning how the world around you is being built.